I'll now call the Standing Committee meeting of April 7th, 2025 to order. The Durham District School Board acknowledges that many Indigenous nations have long-standing relationships, both historic and modern, with the territories upon which our school board and schools are located. Today, this area is home to many Indigenous peoples from across Turtle Island. We acknowledge that the Durham region forms part of the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nation, the Mississauga peoples, and the treaty territory of the Chippewa of Georgina Island First Nation. It is on these ancestral and treaty lands that we teach, learn, and live. Are there any declarations of interest? Seeing none, there are no declarations of interest at this time. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Trustee Jacula, all those in favor? Opposed? It's carried. So we will move on to presentations. And this evening we have Mathematics in Action, System to Student Desk, and I'll call on Superintendent Mohammed Hamid.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. The report can be found on page 1 of your package. This evening, we are pleased to share the second part of our mid-year update on the implementation of the 2024-2025 Math Achievement Action Plan. While our earlier report provided a system-level view of the progress made to date, tonight's focus is on how the plan is beginning to take shape within schools, moving from intention to practice, and ultimately to impact at the student desk. As we continue this important journey, we recognize that sustained improvement in math takes time. The structures we've put in place, such as collaborative analysis of student learning, high-impact instructional practices, and targeted coaching, are gradually embedding in schools. This work is ongoing, adaptive, and deeply rooted in supporting educators and students in responsive, thoughtful ways. To bring this learning to life, we are proud to introduce the team from one of our priority schools, Glen Grove Public School, who will offer a glimpse into how these elements of the plan are being experienced by educators and students. Their presentation will highlight the through line from the system-level design to the teacher collaboration and to the student learning and back again. Joining us from Glen Grove tonight are school leader Brandon McPhail, educator Matthew Wernich, and math coach Carly Wu.
Sorry, you're just gonna have to hit the button on the mic. There's a button there.
Okay. Oh, that's better. Thank you for the introduction, Superintendent Hamid, and thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening. Starting in the fall of 2023, the educators at Glen Grove Public School began the collaborative process of implementing high-impact instructional practices in the math classroom. Glen Grove educators have been fortunate to take part in several professional development opportunities that have assisted them in engaging students in deeper conversations when solving math problems. As a school leader, I've had the good fortune to participate as a member of the Elementary Ministry Math School Leadership Community of Practice, and through that community, I've developed a better understanding of the benefits of the Collaborative Assessment of Student Learning, or CASL, as we know it. As part of our overall school achievement process, CASL has helped our team to uncover what individual students need in the math classroom to be successful. Analysis of student work in a collaborative fashion has gone a long way in assisting teachers when finding their next best instructional move to meet those needs. While working with our math coach, all teachers who provide math instruction have had the opportunity to participate in at least one CASL round this year. The video you're going to see shows a group of grade 4 to 6 teachers coming back for a second round of CASL. These teachers have had the chance to collaborate with their colleagues, go back to the classroom, apply different strategies, learn through that collaboration, and bring back to the group student work for further analysis. So let's take a look at the video. Could you please play it?
And so, again, really paying attention to the process that we're in right now, right? Recognizing the notion of analyzing the data that we have to be able to get very precise in what we're going to be moving for in this area and doing in this area. Many of you will be engaging in, should you choose to do it, many of you will be engaging in walkthroughs with your colleagues over the next couple of months. And so that's a perfect example where you can begin to identify patterns that you're seeing in classrooms to support that notion of precision.
So part of today, we're going to continue to work with the learning progression. We've already made reference, and you're going to continue to play a little bit more with the multiple representations as the first principle in UDL. The content, we're continuing to go deeply into multiplicative thinking, knowing that it's an important tipping point for our kids. And some of the models that we'll be exploring are number line. How do we use that thinking multiplicatively?
This morning I presented him with this question: how many dots do you see, and explain your strategies for figuring out the number. So the first question, I wanted to find out his estimation skills, and I prompted another question: why did you choose 5? He said, just to justify his answers, I counted by 5 because it's easy, and this is his writing, his print. So that helped me to go on to more difficult problems, and then I did the same with him, estimation. And this time he did not go by 5, he counted by 8, and he used his fingers. 8 times 5, he put the model down 3 times. And I said, is there another way you could have counted? He said, I can count by 2, but 8 was easy. First, I would also look at giving him a more challenging numbers to work with as well, to see if he's going to use the strategy of subtraction. Because here we see he using a lot of the additive structures, positive multiplicative. So it's just giving him those different range of problems to see what strategies he's going to use and see how he's going to integrate that in his learning. And there you estimate that there were 23, and you did 5 times 3 equal 15, 2 times 3 equals 6, and you added both to get 21? Yeah. Okay, great. So I recognize you said I counted by 5 because it's easy. So it also means it is friendly. You use a friendly number. 5 is a friendly number. Okay, I'm going to give you another group here, okay? So this one is going to be a different. Can you take a look again and estimate how many dots do you see?
$46.
46?
Yeah.
Okay, 46. And can you show me, using the same method you used here, your multiplication, how did you group them by the 8s? So you did 8, 1 group of 8, 2, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
So this is why you did 8 times 5.
Yeah, and 2 times.
So is there anything else you wanted to do with this work? Oh, the big question, was your estimation close to your answer? It was very close.
Well, you might be asking yourself, we saw one teacher there a lot, and she was talking quite a bit. I just want to recognize Angela Vincent. She wasn't able to join us, so she wanted to pass on her regrets, but she was the teacher you saw in that video quite a bit. While we continue to develop our understanding of when and how to use high-impact instructional practices in the math classroom, Teachers have shown greater confidence in designing tasks that provide students with a variety of ways to demonstrate their learning. Our school achievement plan relies on meeting the well-being needs of all students and helping students to confidently demonstrate their learning, keeping them engaged and ensuring they feel connected to the learning environment. One high-impact instructional practice that seems to have a big impact on students and their teachers' ability to build on student strengths is the math conversation. These conversations encourage students to apply their own thinking to a peer's communication of reasoning. And that's where the educator confidence comes in. In Castle, teachers are discussing ways to prompt students to apply and communicate their thinking and the reasoning of their peers. Of course, it takes a great team, and we have an incredible team of dedicated math teachers at Glengrove, Carly Wu, our math coach, and Matthew Wernich. Our grade 6-7 teacher have joined me here tonight, and while I've done all the talking, it's these teachers and their colleagues who have brought to life the math action plan at Glengrove. The collaborative analysis of student learning is now a part of what we do at Glengrove and is a direct result of our intention to bring the math action plan to life in our school. All 3 guiding principles of the multi-year strategic plan have been tied into this process, creating classroom communities that support well-being through connections to the learning environment and ultimately leading to meaningful learning and positive outcomes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, trustees.
Oh.
That is our presentation. I apologize, Chair, and we are happy to take any questions.
Any questions from trustees? Trustee Morton?
Thank you, and through you, Chair. I'm curious to know, I'm really pleased that we're doing more professional development with our teachers. Do we have adequate funding for that? Do we have increased funding coming from the province? And I hope that we do.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. The funding that we are using is supporting the community of practice that we do have currently for the elementary math school leaders, and we're able to access funding to support the community of practice that we have for the grade 9 priority schools as well. We're waiting to see, with the release of the core educational funding priorities for next year, how the government will continue to fund math. We anticipate it will be coming, as there always has been, funding to support math, and we're anticipating that it will remain a status quo for next year, but we're just waiting on confirmation of that.
Trustee Miller?
Thank you, through you, Chair. I love the presentation. Thank you so much. And I wanted to ask about the high impact instructional practice. I loved hearing about that as well. I'm just wanting to know about more, how does that get evaluated? I know you did say there will be continuing school visits throughout the classrooms and observations. Is there any other plan to take data on the impact of those structures and those new programs?
Yes, so the CASTLE process, the collaborative analysis of student learning, is ongoing. It's an opportunity for our teachers to step out of the classroom and to collaborate. And in the classroom, that's where I have an opportunity to step in through a walkthrough, to see, we've concentrated a lot on these math conversations as the impact strategy we're concentrating on. And so you saw an example of a teacher speaking to a student. So oftentimes in the background, what happens is, I may be witness to one of those conversations, I might be part of one of those conversations, and then I and the teacher can kind of debrief at a time when they're not in the classroom with the students. Furthermore, the teachers are taking note, and they're bringing it back to that community of practice we have in the school as part of CASTLE. So that's where we get that assessment on a school level. Of course, then we wait to see how that produces in the achievement at the end, as far as reporting and other pieces like that. But really, it's when we get an opportunity to speak to the students and understand their ability to understand what they're doing in the classroom and to reflect on what their peers are also doing. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. And even in that video, you could see Angela, she was using a lot of those high impact strategies. You could see she's using lots of tools and representations with her students. And you can see maybe you couldn't see it, but she had them all in small groups and flexible groupings, which is another. And they were doing some problem solving as well. So you can see a lot of those high impact strategies are really coming into the classroom.
It's nice to have a math coach who's able to frame it like that for us sometimes. Yeah.
Any further questions? Trustee Thatcher?
Thank you, and through you. Thank you very much for the report. I see that we're going to be getting a fairly comprehensive analysis in June to demonstrate the results of your hard work. I was just wondering, what kind of collection or observations do you do along the way? Is there anything specific that we're doing along the way to collect the data?
You want me to start, Brandon? Yeah. So thank you for that, and through you, Chair. Thank you for that question, Trustee Thatcher. So within the math plan, you'll notice that there are key performance indicators that are outlined in the math plan. And when I brought the report last week, I provided some of the, in that report, you'll see some of the data from those key performance indicators. And so we are collecting that on a systemic level. And then on a school level, Brandon can talk a little bit about what's happening at the school level.
There we go. So on the school level, we are taking data, and a lot of that data is anecdotal data that teachers are able to record while they're in practice with students. Of course, we're also looking at the quantitative data pieces such as like EQA results and report card results, but that's towards the end of this process. Right now, what we're looking at is that qualitative data that we take note of, and then when we go back into this collaborative analysis of student learning, that's when we're able to debrief with one another and to learn from one another.
Any further questions? See any? Thank you so much for the presentation. Thank you. Moving on to recommended actions, and I'm looking for a motion to approve the standing committee minutes of March 3rd, 2025. Trustee Edwards, all those in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Moving on to information items. First up is the audit committee meeting summary, and I'll look to Associate Director David Wright.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone. The meeting summary starts on page 9 of your package. There's been quite a bit of turnover on the audit committee, and this meeting was an opportunity to say farewell to members who were leaving and welcome to some new members. And so just to run through for the benefit of the board, Trustee Michelle Arsenault continues on the audit committee as chair with external member Jawad Aslam. We did say goodbye to Trustees Pinello and Linton after serving 2 years on the audit committee, and welcome Trustees Morton and Jacula. Lastly, we said goodbye to Leslie Miller, who had spent 3 years as an external member on our audit committee, and welcomed Matthew Tapscott back to the committee, who was a longstanding member and did leave for other opportunities for a while and has rejoined. So it was a nice meeting to get everybody engaged. The next meeting of the audit committee is scheduled for June 18th. Happy to answer any questions. Thanks.
Any questions from trustees? Seeing none, thank you. Moving on to item B, it's the interim financial report, operating expenditures, and back over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's my pleasure to welcome and introduce Senior Finance Manager Jennifer Machen, who is presenting the report this evening.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Chair. The purpose of this report is to provide trustees with information related to the operating expenditures for the period ending February 28th, 2025, or Q2. This is part of the financial reporting cycle outlined on page 2 of the report, page 12 of your package. And attached as Appendix A is the Q2 operating expenditures for the period ended February 28th, and as well descriptions of the types of expenditures included in each category. Expenditures for this period are about 50.2% of 24-25 revised estimates, And overall expenses are in line with prior year with some timing differences. Some you'll recognize from the report of Q1. They're mentioned again. Increases in monthly transportation billing to more evenly distribute costs over the year, as well as timing of discretionary spending for computers, staff development, and board administration. And these impact the individual lines in the attached appendix. This report is provided to trustees for information, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from trustees? Trustee Edwards?
Thank you, and I understand that there's some changes that were made to reflect the transportation distributed more evenly, and I know overall we're saying we're going to meet the budget as far as that's concerned, but still looking at transportation total is at 56.8. I know it's slightly over what we expect, and that's just an area of concern, is whether we're still going to meet budget expectations in that particular item, or we're going to have to accommodate otherwise.
Thank you, and through you, Madam Chair. It's 10 months worth of expenditures, so we're actually a little bit under where we would expect to be at this point in the year. So where we are, we're not concerned about going over budget on transportation.
Seeing no further questions, thank you. We'll move on to the update from DSTS governance meeting, school bus air quality monitoring, and I'll call on Trustee Morton.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. The DSTS Governance Committee met on March the 26th. At that meeting, I initiated the discussion around air quality on our buses, as had been requested by the board. I also shared the correspondence which Chair Brown and Trustee Linton had received from a student. Our CAO of DSTS addressed the issue and indicated that the Ministry of Transportation has established guidelines for emissions testing, which are conducted regularly to ensure that school buses remain compliant with provincial standards. She also indicated that if a family or a school have concerns about a specific vehicle, then DSTS can request that the operator perform an additional mechanical inspection, including emissions testing, to address any issues. We also realized that in the cold winter months, the windows are not opened as frequently to promote air circulation. The CAO, Kelly Michulin, has also agreed to send a letter to the board with a more fulsome explanation. And when that letter arrives, it will be included in our correspondence section of the agenda package. That has yet to be received.
Thank you. Any questions for Trustee Morton? Seeing none, we'll move on to the student trustee report. Student trustee Giacomo.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. In discussions with the Student Senate, senators raised inquiries about heating and cooling in their schools. The February Senate Mentimeter gathered student feedback on their experiences with heating and cooling in school buildings. Further data is required to get a more elaborate sense of student experience. As a starting point, on March 25th, we had the opportunity to meet with Lisa Bianca, Head of Facility Services, to share our inquiries. She was able to share current strategies that are being used to regulate temperatures in schools for students and staff. Through these conversations, we learned that the heating issues are generally easier to resolve than cooling challenges. Additionally, students experiencing discomfort due to high temperatures should first report the issue to school admin so that it can be shared with custodial staff, as many of these inquiries have simple solutions. School cooling and climate control measures. Building design and temperature control. Some school designs include dampers that may inadvertently block temperature regulation. However, automation technology allows for remote monitoring and necessary adjustments to maintain optimal conditions. Cooling distribution across the district. There are 23 fully cooled buildings within the district, including 6 high schools and 6 elementary schools. The level of cooling largely depends on the age and construction of each building. This ensures that at least one school in every region except the north is fully cooled. As a result, students attending summer school can work comfortably in these buildings during warmer months. New school construction and upgrades. New schools are being built with full cooling systems based on previous feedback and involving climate considerations gathered by the facilities department. Older schools are gradually incorporating fully cooled wings as their existing systems reach the end of their lifespan. Respite systems and temporary cooling solutions. A respite system allows students to rotate into cooler areas such as libraries during extreme heat waves. Additionally, all portable classrooms purchased since 2014 come equipped with full air conditioning to enhance comfort for students and staff. Budget considerations and long-term planning. Comprehensive air conditioning installation allows all schools, across all schools, would cost tens of millions of dollars. Given that the district's annual facility improvement budget is only $30 million, investments are prioritized based on value and impact. The number of days exceeding 27 degrees Celsius varies each year, influencing decisions on cooling infrastructure upgrades. The goal of compiling all this information is to equip the Student Senate with the knowledge needed to respond to student inquiries, learn more about the strategies that the board uses to navigate temperatures in schools, and advocate for enhanced cooling solutions in schools with the greatest need. By fostering informed discussions and collaborations, we can work towards creating a more comfortable and sustainable learning environment for all students. If you scroll down to Appendix A, you can find the Mentimeter slideshow for all the results that we collected at our February Senate meeting.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. The recent Student Senate and Trustee Workshop, which was held here in the boardroom on March 19th, provided senators with a very valuable opportunity to engage directly with trustees, superintendents, as well as board staff. This event fostered meaningful discussions on key student-related issues while allowing students to gain deeper insight into the board's actual decision-making process. At the same time, trustees and senior staff had the chance to connect with students firsthand. This workshop's collaborative approach strengthened the relationships between students and board representatives, emphasizing the significance of student advocacy and also ensuring that student voice remains a priority. Breakout group discussions covered a range of different topics, including school curriculum, board budget, AI use in classrooms, fostering a positive school climate, student voice in decision-making, mental health and well-being, transportation challenges, and specialized education. These conversations generated potential solutions that reflect a very much shared commitment to enhancing educational experiences for all students. So you'll see below, outlined in your package, your agenda package, we went through a lot of the key discussion topics as well as our proposed recommendations. So just to briefly summarize, for student voice and decision making, our discussion was surrounding opportunity for student advocacy in board level decisions, and our proposed recommendation is introducing a feedback system where students can submit concerns to trustees and senior admin, and that ensures that their voices are valued in the decision-making process, which is something that we really wanted to highlight. And then we obviously can assume that you guys went over the rest of them, so I will leave that for you to review. And as for feedback from participants, just overall, in the breakout discussion, attendees appreciated the high energy, diverse perspectives, and the opportunity to engage in meaningful conversations about student needs and advocacy, and also current issues. Many senators like the chance to connect with trustees and share their authentic voices, as well as the organized structure of the event. However, some felt that there wasn't enough time in the breakout sessions to fully express all their opinions, and a few noted that the group size and the balance of students to trustees could have been adjusted for better discussion flow. Participants definitely particularly valued the relevance of the discussions and also the enjoyable atmosphere and the interesting topics, of course. The time management was noted as an area that could use a bit more flexibility to allow for deeper exploration of the topics. When asked about areas for more focus, responses included topics like more student transportation, that was a really big one, mental well-being, school climate, and also the current grading system within schools, with a general call for more time, once again, to discuss these crucial issues. Overall, the workshop was successfully fostered collaboration between the student senators, trustees, and superintendents, and it provided both groups with valuable insights and a platform for advocating for continued growth. We will be bringing a summary of the events and our findings to the Admin Council, which we already did at their meeting, and are excited to gather continuous feedback, of course, on the event to ensure that we are prepared for next year as well, because this is definitely something that we want to continue to have happen annually. It is our hope that will happen. And I also just wanted to highlight that all of these results that I was talking about, all of this feedback that we gathered from the event is actually included in a separate Appendix B in your agenda packages as well, if you would like to see more specifically. And thank you, that's it.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. The Denise House hosted its annual celebration of Courage Gala on March 20th, 2025, to honor the incredible women and children who have found strength to seek and embrace a new beginning. For over 40 years, the Denise House has provided a safe haven and essential support to those escaping violence and abuse in the Durham region. This event is a powerful reminder of the resilience and bravery of these individuals, shining a light on their inspiring journey of overcoming trauma and rebuilding their lives. We are deeply honored to attend this meaningful event, where every ticket purchase contributed to providing shelter, support, and the hope of a fresh start for these courageous women and children. The evening was hosted by Perdita Felician, a retired world champion 100-meter hurdler, best-selling author, sports broadcaster, and keynote speaker, whose presence added an extra layer of inspiration. This beautiful celebration of courage and hope reaffirmed that together we can make a profound and lasting difference in the lives of those in need. That concludes our report for this month, and we're now open to any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I just wanted to thank the student trustees and the student senate for the opportunity for trustees to participate in the Ignite Connection workshop. And I'll take questions. I see Trustee Cunningham.
Thank you. This is a question for Associate Director Wright. I noted in this report that it said that the North doesn't have a school with air conditioning in that region. And I was wondering if there is a reason for that, or if there is a plan to get one air conditioning. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Through you, Madam Chair. Just want to make a distinction between cooling systems and air conditioning, because they're not the same. I do think Beaver River Public School has a cooling system, so I'm not sure if there was a disconnect or if I'm misunderstanding, but I think that the elementary school we just opened in Beaverton is cooled. So happy to follow up on that.
Thank you. And if I may just elaborate a little bit more, it was more so that basically we're talking about every township within the DDSB has at least one specific school that is like basically fully air conditioned, and that was me. We wanted to ask about that because we wanted to understand, where students are gonna be going in the summer for like summer school and things like that. So at least one in every like region. It was kind of, I guess, the main goal that they had there. And then we wanted to note that, of course, I guess maybe that has changed now, but the North, as we heard from the head of facilities, they didn't have fully air-conditioned buildings, I guess, there.
Seeing no further questions, thank you. We'll move on to the OPSPA update. And Trustee Edwards.
There's not really an update other than just some dates to a reminder as far as the Legislative Assembly resumes on April 14th, so in 1 week. At the the Labor Symposium is May 1st and 2nd, with the OPSPA Board of Directors meeting happening after that on May 3rd. And the OPSPA AGM is June 12th to the 14th, and registration is open at this point in time for the AGM. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Trustee Edwards? Seeing none, we'll move on to the Ignite Durham Learning Foundation update, and to Trustee Arsenault.
Thank you, and through you, Chair. The Ignite Durham Learning Foundation is thrilled to announce the record-breaking success of this year's to Make Tomorrow Brighter auction. Thanks to overwhelming generosity of our community members, we raised approximately $69,435. Big claps to all of those who took a look at the auction, bought something on the auction, or even just liked something and lost something on the auction. It was good that everybody paid attention to it and tried to get involved in it. It was nice to watch at the very end, everyone trying to get that last minute bid in. This was almost doubling last year's of 40,000. So again, big numbers, and a huge thanks once again to everyone who participated, donated, or supported the auction. Contributors must know must know that we are thankful. IDLF is thankful for helping create brighter futures for Durham children, DDSB's children. The other thing that you won't see that's in your package, but everyone has a copy, I think everyone has a copy of, is the upcoming golf tournament. It's the first one that Ignite's going to have. June 10th is the date, so get some friends together. It's going to be a wonderful day out in the sun and playing some golf and supporting the children at the same time. That's it.
Any questions for Trustee Arsenault? I guess we're putting together a trustee team, yeah? Moving on to the next item is memos at page 2425, interim artificial intelligence guidelines. Any thoughts, questions on? Seeing none. That takes us to the last item, which is adjournment. Can I have a mover and a seconder to adjourn? Trustee Miller, Trustee Jacula, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Good night.